What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. Your host, Matt Johnson here. I want to kick off today's show with a Josh Giddey update for you guys as we sit here in a fresh month in September, just under 4 weeks away from the start of the NBA preseason. A Josh Giddey deal is not done. However, there is a bright spot to the situation brought up by a couple of reports that are linked to the Josh Giddey situation. Multiple reports are stating that a multi-year deal is likely to get done between Giddey and the Bulls sometime before the start of this upcoming season, and the details of this deal are yet to be disclosed. However, it's likely it's going to be in the range of a 4-year deal, somewhere around $80 to $90 million. So we'll see what happens there. It's kind of a figure I've been throwing at you guys for a while since the start of the show. I think a deal in the range of 3 to 4 years could be around $20 million a year, and I think Giddey wants more. He wants more around that $30 million range, which I've talked about a ton this summer. I don't know if he's going to get that. Hopefully, for the Bulls' sake, he doesn't decide to sign that qualifying offer and hit the open market next summer. That would be a major blow to the Bulls, considering how long things have taken, and recently kind of how the Pat Williams deal went down. If they're losing arguably one of their better players due to the same situation, that would be a hit. So we'll keep an eye on that, but it is reported by multiple outlets there to expect a deal for around 4 years and $80 to $90 million. I'd be shocked personally if it got to the point of signing the qualifying offer, but we'll see what happens. So I'll keep you guys posted on this. Kind of switching gears to a name you guys are probably familiar with, Talen Horton-Tucker. A Chicago Bull player has signed overseas. While he's kind of weighing his options, he wants to make an NBA return, but in the meantime, he has signed with Fenerbahce in Istanbul. It's one of the top Turkey teams out there. So they are the reigning champion of the Turkish Cup and the EuroLeague. They have cemented themselves as one of the best teams in Europe overall. So he's going to finalize the deal there. Still hoping for an NBA opportunity, however. We'll see what happens with him there at 24 years old only. He's still very young, so and those are really his two options. He's looking to kind of jump into a opportunity in the league, or he'll take his talents overseas, already signing that deal. So ultimately, if that NBA opportunity doesn't materialize to his liking, he will go and continue his career with one of the more prestigious EuroLeague clubs out there. So just some news to throw at you guys there about a name I know some of you guys are familiar with there. Kind of switching gears here, I thought this was interesting to throw at you guys. Obviously, EuroBasket is going on currently, and Nikola Vucevic is participating. He had talked the other day in regard to his time in Chicago and how he has, appreciated his time in Chicago. Rumors have definitely swirled all offseason about Chicago possibly looking to move him. I've talked about him a ton in my show and what could happen. Kind of like the Josh Giddey situation, nothing has really materialized for Nikola Vucevic. I mean, there's been teams like the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers of recent that have been mentioned as possible fits for him. If it were up to Vucevic, though, he'd like to stay. As some of the things he had said here in this interview, quote, "Yes, of course. I mean, it's been very good for me there." Vucevic said via Basket News. He said, "We'll see. I'll have, one more year left with them, so we'll see what happens if I stay or if something changes. But yeah, obviously, I would love to win in Chicago." So he loves being in Chicago, as a ton of players do. They love the city. They love what the organization provides. They definitely do take care of their players for the most part. So he has been paid handsome here in Chicago. The winning hasn't been there, though, and he has made that known that given that he is on the back half of his career, age-wise, he wants to get as much winning in as possible, and he wants an opportunity to do that. So while he loves it here in Chicago, I'm not surprised that he has an aspiration to win and to win now, because his days could be numbered in the league as an elite player that he is right now. So just some interesting quotes there from an interview with him at EuroBasket. I'll keep you guys posted on anything in regard to Nikola Vucevic. Like I've talked about, I do expect the Bulls to be active in trying to move him more towards the February trade deadline coming up this upcoming season. So it's gotten kind of quiet. I really do expect a starting lineup for the Bulls to look something like Kobe White, Nikola Vucevic. You got Modest, you got Noah Sangay. Kobe White's going to be a big factor on this team as well. It's another name that's kind of swirled around in terms of what they're going to do with his contract. So there's a lot of the things that you can look at this Bulls team and raise your eyebrows about, and a lot of questions that are asked moving forward with some of these core pieces. So we'll keep an eye on how things transpire there. Just kind of going through to end today's show, some news around the league here. It's not a great story, not something you want to see, but Dennis Schroeder was the target of racial abuse at EuroBasket during Germany's 107-88 victory over Lithuania this past Saturday. One fan was banned from attending the rest of the tournament by FIBA officials. The German Basketball Association said 2 people were identified as the alleged perpetrators of the abuse and were subsequently ejected from the arena. Never something you want to see associated with our great game of basketball. I feel sorry for Dennis Schroeder. He's a heck of an athlete, heck of a player. He's had a great NBA career. He expressed his disappointment in the situation. Hopefully, that doesn't continue. We could move past that and have a solid EuroBasket competition moving forward. So not the greatest news there in terms of a solid NBA player there playing with the Germany squad there. So switching gears, there was some news on a solid player for a long time in the league. He had jumped onto the scene with the New York Knicks, and that's Jeremy Lin. He has officially retired from pro basketball there. Lin's sanity has hung things up, and he will move on to different things there in his career. Lin most recently played pro ball in Taiwan. He made his retirement announcement via Instagram this past Saturday night. 37 years old now. He's coming off back-to-back championships with the new Taipei Kings. Last season, he was named the Taiwan Professional Basketball League's MVP during its inaugural season, and then followed it up with the finals MVP honors during new Taipei Kings championship run. So he had a very solid tenure there in just the couple of seasons that league has been going on. Before playing in China and Taiwan, Lin spent 9 seasons in the league. Was a guy that, really came onto the national spotlight while playing with the A franchises there. After going undrafted out of Harvard, he made the team as a walk-on. So a crazy story about this guy. I mean, a super smart dude, obviously went and played at Harvard, walked on. Nothing came easy to him. He made his mark with the Knicks in 2012. As you guys remember, Lin was inserted into the lineup by then coach Mark D'Antoni that February when Carmelo was sidelined, and Lin led New York to a 7-game win streak there. It was a very solid little stretch for him there. Lin scored at least 20 points in 9 of those 10 games. He finished with averages in his career of 11.5 points a game to go along with 4.3 assists per game in 480 games across 10 years with the Knicks, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Hornets, the Nets, the Hawks, and then finally the Toronto Raptors. He did win and was a part of that NBA championship team in Toronto in 2019, which would eventually be his final NBA season. So Lin's sanity was a crazy time. I remember growing up, in high school during that time. I was watching those Knicks games. I was just taken back by how big of a rock star he was during that time. So Jeremy Lin officially hangs it up. Just some other news of note here. The Milwaukee Bucks are bringing back Thanasis Antetokounmpo on a 1-year deal for $2.9 million. Thanasis missed all of this past season due to a torn Achilles tendon. He is also currently playing for the Greek national team at EuroBasket there. So that could point towards Giannis staying put in Milwaukee. I know nothing has really transpired in terms of the trade talks for him. I think Giannis wants to make it work in Milwaukee, and I think his brother inking that 1-year deal all but solidifies him staying with the Bucks for at least this upcoming season. I know Giannis has met with the Bucks in recent weeks here to kind of discuss his future with the program. So overall, I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's show. The preseason's fastly approaching here. I'm excited for it. We'll get some more basketball content in terms of game previews and game analysis to you guys. I'm looking forward to an exciting year for this team. I'm still waiting, just like you guys are, on this Josh Giddey deal to get done. Hopefully it does here in the next couple of weeks. We've been waiting a long time for it. As this thing goes, Bulls fans I know are getting a little more nervous about bringing him back. So we'll see what happens. But thanks for joining me today, guys. If you have anything you want to throw in the comments, let me hear it. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And as always, it's much appreciated you guys going and liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps out a ton. So overall, overall, thanks again for joining me today, guys. We will see you guys tomorrow.